Anita Nayar.
Rhonda was a lamp to so many of us. She lit our path with brilliance and wisdom and consuming passion that informed and transformed so many political struggles. We first worked together in the mid-90s in preparing for the UN's Population and Development Conference. It was a hectic time, and whenever she knew that I'd be working late, she'd show up with a basket of fruits to ensure that we could work all night. So we crafted language together, and with each creative formulation that she came up with, she would explain the legal precedent and the rationale. And these arguments, which her law students also helped to research, eventually became our legal Bible for advocacy throughout the Beijing and the Cairo conferences. And many governments drew from them. Rhonda also shed her radiant light on my more recent efforts to develop a feminist analysis of climate justice issues. Once again, she wanted to enlist the CUNY law school students and even to get CCR on board to revive the third generation of human rights, to not only include the rights of people to a safe environment, but also of the Earth's well-being. 4 years ago, when Rhonda was diagnosed with cancer, she had to find the strength to be the lamp to herself, as she was to so many of us. We saw her brilliance and passion as she researched her medical treatments. She helped women fight for the diagnostic work that is so often ignored, and she strenuously cross-examined her doctors, always with the determination to not just survive, but to live. Her analytic mind was challenged to open in a different way when she pursued complementary therapies in Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, as there seemed to her to be no measurable proof of whether these treatments were taking effect. However, I noticed she did submit pretty easily to the Ayurvedic massages. After her first experience of being massaged by 4 women rubbing hot, warm oil all over her body, she said she felt as close to a newborn baby as possible, except maybe for great sex. We saw Rhonda learn so much about love and friendship through the experience of cancer, difficult as it was. The illness became a teacher. And being a great teacher herself, she invited us to accompany her on this journey. And many people did accompany her. People came from all over the world to be with her. An entire intergenerational feminist community of caregivers formed around Rhonda. Stunning hospice workers and nurses, and I think maybe even ourselves. Her eventual dependency created an opening for meaning in our own lives as we learned to give of ourselves. But the caregiving was not without its ups and downs. Rhonda, as many of us know, was afflicted with a certain kind of, how can I put it, chaos. Though she sought peace, and mightily sought it, her attempts to introduce additional minutes into every hour were about as successful as getting the Vatican to accept reproductive rights. And when she tried meditation, that great mind of her whirred. And later, with the treatments, she became too exhausted to maintain the focus. So then she decided that it would be better if we meditated for her. So she asked my partner, Jocelyn, if she would lead the wide circle of caregiver friends in meditation. And this happened every night during the last week of her life. And while the clinking of scotch on the rocks could be heard at times during meditation, any number of people grew to get into it. And when it got to the point where Rhonda could no longer manage conversation or sustain a state of wakefulness, we sat with her in meditation, sharing our energy and experiencing hers. The smile on her face was profoundly peaceful. On her last day, she awoke to a beautiful dawn, overlooking the wide and still East River. She was surrounded by love until her last peaceful breath at sunset when the river danced in silver light. As we continue on, my hope is that we celebrate Rhonda's life by the way we live ours. So may I please ask you all to join me into practicing this, and to please stand, if you would. and take the hands of the ones next to you. And keep in mind the great spirit that brought us together. And to say in her words, when she first publicly announced her cancer, and please repeat after me, I love you all. I love you all. Together, we make a world.